Coming up on this edition of Maverick Postgame, CMU football start off their season on the right foot, while men's and women's soccer stumble in their opening weekend.
Plus, we have a special report on volleyball's weekend in San Diego.
All that and more coming up right now. Happy Labor Day, CMU, and welcome to the school year's first edition of Maverick Postgame. I'm Joe Azar.
And I'm Bryce Reedy.
And we're going to take you over to the gridiron now. And after their first winning season since 2008, CMU football looked to continue their winning ways when they traveled to Utah to square off against Dixie State in a rematch of last year's overtime thriller. However, this year was anything but a thriller as the Mavs came, saw, and conquered in their third 43-3 win. CMU's offense, which was stagnant for the majority of last year, rushed for 363 yards and threw for 219. The Mavericks also capitalized on Dixie State's mistakes, as their first touchdown was a pick six and their second was thanks to a great field positioning after a Dixie botched snap on a punt. The Mavs now move to 5-1 all-time against the Red Storm.
The Mavs will look to keep rolling this weekend as they open the season at home against Midwestern State. The Mustangs are coming off a huge win of their own as they thumped the Truman Bulldogs 31-3. Led by sophomore quarterback Hagan Hudson, who threw for 183 yards and 2 touchdowns and then added 26 yards and a touchdown on the ground, will look to move to 2-0 on the season. However, even the great quarterback play, this is going to be a game that will be won in the run game. Both teams ran the ball very effectively in their openers. The Mavs' lead rusher was Jonathan Beverly, who rushed for a game-high 224 yards and added a score, while the Bulldogs went with a more running back by committee approach and rushed for 148 and 2 touchdowns. It's definitely going to be a very, very competitive competition this weekend. And now for our sideline report regarding the Mavs quarterback play, here's Justin Bell.
The Mavs football team is riding high on the backs of not one, but 2 great quarterbacks in sophomores Eric Kaiser and Sean Rubalcaba. Kaiser led the team to his first winning season in almost a decade a season ago. While Kaiser excels at getting the ball downfield, Rubalcaba is more of a mobile threat. His mastery of the option makes him a perfect fit for Coach Russ Martin's up-tempo, no-huddle offense. Both quarterbacks played well in the first game of the season against Dixie State on Saturday. Kaiser threw for almost 200 yards and Rubalcaba added a 35-yard rushing score of his own. Coach Russ Martin says both quarterbacks showed some good things on Saturday, but still isn't ready to make a decision on a set starter. Both should get snaps at 8 p.m. this Saturday as the Mavericks are set to take on the Mustangs of Midwestern State. Back to you guys in the studio.
On to the pitch we go now, where both men's and women's soccer had a less than stellar week. The men's kicked off their season against St. Edward's University in Texas. After losing 8 starters from last year, though, it was going to be an uphill climb for this year's Mavs to be as defensively sound. To make matters worse, team captain and RMAC preseason Defensive Player of the Year, Blake Carlson, got sent off after receiving a red card 35 minutes into the new season. The 10-men Mavs salvaged a 0-0 draw after 2 scoreless overtime periods, but the headline was indeed the red card, with both Carlson and head coach Todd Padgett questioning the referee's decision in post-game interviews. Nonetheless, Carlson was suspended for the game on Sunday against Midwestern State, and the Mustangs took advantage of CMU's lack of leadership and fatigue, cruising to a 4-1 win. The Mavs' defense crumbled, allowing 23 shots, and the offense, they weren't as effective either, managing only 6 shots, with substitute Kevin Del Mazo the only Mav to find the back of the net. Hopefully a home stand this weekend will help CMU figure out some of their defensive issues. They face St. Mary's Friday at 7 and West Texas A&M Sunday at 1.
Team was not much better. They compiled an 0-2 record in their 2 competitions this weekend. Thursday, the Mavs opened up with a 1-0 loss against Texas Women's University. Gabby Larson gave the Pioneers the lead in the 61st minute. The Mavs got outshot 13-9 in the contest and just couldn't get anything going. Their offensive struggles continued on Saturday as the team got drubbed 3-0 by the Mustangs, once again getting outshot 16-11. CMU will look to get on the right track this weekend as they will be playing in the Maverick Classic here at Walker Field. Matchups will include Dallas Baptist on Thursday and Angelo State on Saturday. And now going from the pitch to the court, here's Justin Bell again, who followed the volleyball team in the tournament in San Diego this past weekend.
The women's volleyball team had an up-and-down weekend at the Seaside Invitational Tournament in San Diego. The Mavs began the tournament with losses to the University of San Diego and Point Loma, but rebounded for victories over San Francisco State and Concordia. Katie Bro led the team this weekend with 37 kills en route to being named to the All-Seaside Invitational team. Not far behind were Abby Ney and Hattie Giannetti, with 34 and 32 kills respectively. But the MVP of the weekend was definitely Cricket Adelman, who recorded an amazing 66 digs while still finishing third on the team in assists. Coach Dave Fleming had high praise for Adelman, saying, "What she brings every week is very important to our success. She was probably the steadiest player all weekend." The even split gives the team momentum heading into the Colorado Premier Tournament September 11th through the 12th, when their opening round matches pit them against Revis University and Southwestern Minnesota State. Back to you guys in the studio.
Now, if you can't make it to any of the home games this weekend, you will be able to listen to them live on KMSA 91.3 FM. So don't miss out on any of the jam-packed sports weekend. The student-run radio station is in the process of a major overhaul in programming, putting a big emphasis on covering sports in the Grand Junction area. On top of covering every home game, KMSA will also be hosting a pregame party at the point on campus here before every football game. For more information about what the radio station is doing, you can go to Facebook and like their page.
And now it's time for us to name our Maverick of the Week, and for his dominant performance over Dixie State, we are giving the prestigious honor to Jonathan Beverly. He carried the load for the Mavs this weekend, rushing 15 times for 224 yards, including a 17-yard score in the third quarter.
Now that's all the time we have for today. Check back with us next week for highlights and recaps of games this week. I'm Joe Azar along with Bryce Reedy, wishing you a safe and happy Labor Day.